Tonight's manga first impressions was requested by OAW patron Trent Schaefer. Salute to you, sir. And if you have a request for a manga that you would like to see me take a look at and give my initial thoughts on, become a patron at patreon.com/OAW. Now, while there is currently no specific tier dedicated to manga first impressions, if you become a patron at the Crunchyroller tier, just send me a message letting me know you want to redeem your request for a manga review, and I will put you down on my list as such. So once again, that's patreon.com/OAW. Select the Crunchyroller tier. And in addition to your request, you also get access to all Patreon exclusive content, the OAW Vault, and you get an invite to join in on the live monthly Q&A held right here on the OAW YouTube channel, as well as the OAW Facebook page. Once again, patreon.com/OAW and select the Crunchyroller tier. And with that being said, this is going to be my first impressions of the manga series Akame Ga Kill. Let's get it started.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Greetings to everyone watching live and everyone watching after the fact. Shout out to the faithful and salute to the patrons. This is Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief, here to bring you all. I think, when was the last time I did a manga first? Dude, it's been over a year. It's been over a year since I did a manga first impressions, I believe. I've been doing a lot of anime ones recently, but it's been a long time since I did a manga one. So yeah, how's everyone doing tonight? Thank you so much once again for joining me live. And once again, another huge shout out to my man, OAW patron, Trent Schaefer, for requesting this review. Now, this one was kind of funny because originally Akame Ga Kill was requested as an anime, but everyone's been telling me, it's like, Larry, dude, just read the manga. It's like the anime falls off, they change the ending, because that tends to happen with popular anime series and whatnot. When they get canceled prematurely, it's like, oh, we got to wrap up the series, right? So they change the ending of the anime, this is than the other. So yeah, Trent was like, dude, check out the manga. I was like, all right, cool. So I went ahead, and you guys know how this go. Y'all know how this go by now, right? Initially, I'm only supposed to review like the first chapter, right? Since it's like 88 pages. Well, I got carried away, and currently I'm on chapter 4. So I'm like 187 pages in. Yeah, I just read the first 3 chapters. I actually got into it. I'm not gonna lie, I got into it. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give you all my initial thoughts on this manga. If you guys have any questions or comments that you want to make sure get answered before the end of tonight's broadcast, you can always drop a super chat. You can also support the channel via Cash App and PayPal. Link are in the description box below. But I can't make this one another hour, guys. I don't have another hour tonight, so we just gonna go ahead. We're gonna jump right into it. Please feel free to click in the description box below for my background info and my summary, which I will be breaking down for you all right now. All right, so let's pull it up. Read along with me, if you will. Okay, so this is going to be my initial thoughts and first impressions of the 2010 Japanese manga Akame Ga Kill, written by Takahiro and illustrated by Tetsuya Tashiro. And here's a synopsis. Set in a fantasy world, fighter Tatsumi sets out for the capital to earn money for his starving village and finds a world of unimaginable corruption, all spreading from the depraved prime minister who controls the child emperor's ear. After nearly becoming a victim of this corruption himself, Tatsumi is recruited by Night Raid, a group of assassins dedicated to eliminating the corruption plaguing the capital by mercilessly killing those responsible. Okay, so real quick, that synopsis I just read, y'all, I pieced that synopsis together from a couple of different sources just because the initial synopsis I read actually spoiled the big plot twist at the end of the first chapter. And I was like, I'm not about to do that to my viewers. I'm no, a blatant spoiler like that, I'm not about to do that to you guys. So what I'm gonna do for the sake of this first impressions, I'm gonna pretty much do this spoiler free for the most part, because the whole purpose of this vid is pretty much to kind of intrigue anyone who might not have checked out the series yet. So hopefully by the time I'm done, you will at least have a better idea about whether or not you want to check it out. So yeah, I might mention a couple of spoilers towards the end, but I'll let you all know. So yeah, so that's as brief a synopsis as I can give you all, and essentially that hits at the heart of what the plot of this story is. Essentially, our main character Tetsumi is recruited by Night Raid, which is a band of assassins, and they are essentially, it's not just that they're like a hit squad. You know, they're not just assassins for hire. We find out they are part of a revolutionary army. They're part of a resistance, an organized effort that is being orchestrated by individuals in order to take down the corrupted government that's running their country, essentially, right? So these guys are organized. You know, they are organized. They are affiliated. Um, they're just one part. And in addition to an assassination squad, they're also an intelligence agency. So because they are planted inside of the capital, well, actually, they're right outside the capital, if memory serves. Yeah, they're located in the mountains right outside the capital. But because they're so close, they also participate in gathering intelligence, and some of that intelligence is used in order to relay back to the Revolutionary Army, which is the main brunt of their force. So yeah, so that synopsis pretty much sums up what the main plot of the story is. So what do I think about it so far? I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It's good. I like it. I like it. I think it's good. The first chapter is a little bit of it takes a while. It takes a while, and I'm gonna explain to you why. Because the first chapter is so concerned with trying to give you an idea of what the status quo. Let me correct myself. The first chapter is written in a way to where you, as the reader, you are essentially supposed to take the role of Tetsumi, because Tetsumi is our window character. He's our main protagonist, he's our main character, but he's very much our window character. Why? Because he is an outsider from he's an outsider of the capital himself. So the first chapter is him arriving in the capital. So we experience everything he experiences as he experiences it firsthand, right? Everything's blind. And the thing about that, though, the story is crafted in a way to where you're supposed to think of the capital in the same way he does. So every preconceived notion he has, he relays to the reader. And all the experiences he has throughout that first chapter as a naive, a novice, a newcomer to the capital, you experience with him in real time, right? Because he's slowly learning what's really going on in the capital, just as we are. That's very important. And the reason for it is because what I said earlier when I misspoke, I said that the first chapter is concerned with trying to establish the status quo. No, it isn't. It's concerned with trying to fool you. Because when the big plot twist happens at the end of the first chapter, when you actually get to see what the status quo really is, it is supposed to be nerve wracking. It is supposed to be shocking. It is supposed to rattle your nerves. And here's the thing about that. I got what the creators were doing. And I tell you what, while I was bored for the majority of the first chapter, I will at least give them credence for this, because I'll give them credit. Because here's the thing: so much of what Tetsumi experiences and the way he behaves, the way he's characterized, it's stereotypical and it's archetypal, very much so. If you're reading, it feels like so many other stories we've seen of this nature, right? Until you get to that plot twist. And that's when this series sort of starts to shine a little bit, right? Like that, like that's where the point of its narrative is starting to hit home. And that's when it's revealed to us that we're actually in for a much bigger story than we initially thought. And so for that, gentlemen, bravo. Like I said, if it wasn't for the fact that I was already spoiled, I probably would have been like, "Whoa." When I got to the end of the first chapter. But nevertheless, the thing I like about it is I love the dialogue. I love the artwork, especially because what they do with that artwork, there for the most part, the manga is very stylized. Just traditional standard, manga, what you would consider, right? I would very much liken the art style to what's my man? The creator of Fairy Tale and Rave Master. It's similar to his art style. That's what I would liken it to, right? Um, so it's very stylized. But when we get to the end of that chapter, we get more detailed and we get a lot more graphic. We get a lot more grays and a lot more blacks. We do a lot more gradation, a lot more like shading and tones. And that's meant for a point because that's a visual cue. And that visual cue is supposed to hit on an emotional cue. And that I think it does very, very well. Very, very well. So, like I said, the ending of that first chapter, bravo, gentlemen. Bravo. Second chapter is when we are formally introduced to Night Raid. That's when we're formally introduced to each of the characters, and that's when we kind of learn their history. So everything I mentioned to you all about, what it is they're doing in the capital, what their modes of operation are, their affiliation with with the Revolutionary Army, all of that exposition comes in that second chapter. Um, and then and then of course there's a little bit of fan service, not in the sexual manner. I'm talking about where you have a story about assassins, but for the most part of that second issue it's all talking. We do get to see them flex a little bit towards the end of that second chapter, so that's kind of cool. Essentially, by the end of the second chapter you already have sort of a general idea of what every character who every character is in terms of just their stock personality and what and each one of their weapons and move set, a general idea, because for long running anime and manga series eventually there's much more material. We get into it much deeper, but initially, two chapters in, you already sort of have an idea of who's who and what they can do, right? Okay, solid there. And then third chapter is Tetsumi's first official mission. And and that, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, because of where that story's going, especially at the beginning of the third chapter, I did not expect chapter 3 to end the way it did. So I was kind of surprised by that. But at the same time, I also get the feeling that that's going to set up for an even bigger plot point later on down the line. Because right now, all things considered, Tetsumi's faring pretty well. He's faring pretty well. He's all right. He hasn't gotten messed up as much as you might think he might be, or as messed up as you might think he should be. He's still kind of he's still making it. But that's only 3 chapters in. So we don't know how bad things could actually get. But chapter 3 is also the first time we start actually, yeah. Chapter 3 is the first time it is there anything in terms of a sort of like ranking system or any type of like power system is the first time it's ever mentioned. So we know that at some point later on in the series, we're going to get the full blown explanation behind that, and we're going to find out who's who in this story in terms of a ranking system and in terms of a power scale. So for the time being, Tetsumi's doing all right, but time will tell. Um, but yeah, so like I said, each one of the chapters, for the most part, I think are pretty good. The only one I really had any type of, criticism about was that first one. But like I said, there was a purpose for it, and I understand the purpose. So, given the fact that they stuck the landing, I have no issues with chapter one. But of the three I've read, funny enough, I think two might actually be the best. Just because of the dialogue in it. Now, with that being said, real quick, before I talk about some of the characters, I want to just go ahead and get my I guess you could say, literary slash artistic criticisms out of the way right now, because for the most part the manga's fine, and I do take in consideration a lot of this has to do with my reading of it and the manga I was actually able to get my hands on. So here's the thing. First off, some of the translations in the scans I read I think are off. And so I was looking for a better translation. It's every source I could find, they're all using the same scans. And I also noticed multiple different translation groups worked on some of these scans. So like if you go to some popular manga sites, which of course I always say support the official release, support the official manga, you know. Um, but if you go to some scanlation sites, it's odd to see the series collected from multiple translation groups. Usually it's always either one or two groups and it's their entire collection. This one, I think I've already seen two different groups and we're only three chapters in. That's kind of odd. Some of those translations I think aren't done as well. So there's that to take in consideration. Just throwing that out there. Um, I kind of had to fill in some gaps on my own about like what that dialogue should actually be like and how that should sound. And when I started doing that, I'm like, okay, yeah, no, it could have been done better. But that's neither here nor there. Visually, let's talk about some things. There are some inserts and some close-ups throughout all three chapters where I was having difficulty recognizing what it was I was supposed to be looking at. Case in point, with the character of Leon, right? There's I think it's at the beginning of chapter 2. There is a close up of her like rack when she rests her chest on Tetsumi's head. I couldn't tell that's what that was supposed to be because of the way it was drawn. I could not tell that's what that was supposed to be. There are also some instances during the fight scene at the end of chapter 3 that has the same problem. It's a close up and I'm like, I don't know what that's supposed to be. Is that supposed to be a weapon? Is that supposed to be is that supposed to be a body part? Like I don't know what I'm looking at. Those close ups I think could be a lot better. So yeah, that I think is a legit issue, and that's in the art. That's in the artwork. That's right from the creator himself. So yeah, kind of difficult to make out what those are supposed to be. But then again, granted, this is manga. Most manga is not colored. If it was colored, I'm pretty sure I could make out what it was. But because it was in black and white, I couldn't figure out what some of those close-ups were supposed to be. So, um, other than that, though, those are my only two real big criticisms about the manga. Pacing wise, it works. Um, I don't think the panels are too cluttered. This is not like One Piece, where there's so much material in one panel that you have to sit there and like stare at the panel for a very long time. Not necessarily a problem even with One Piece. It's just you're going to be there for a while if you're reading a One Piece chapter because there's so much stuff that you can easily miss. Akame Ga Kill doesn't have that, so that's not an issue. Um, Page length, actually, because the first chapter is like 88 pages, the second one's like 52, and the third one's like 44. Chapters 2 and 3, I think, once again, I think are paced well. So page count's not a problem either. Not an issue. It's totally fine. Okay, let's talk about some characters. What am I thinking about the main crew? Once again, Tatsumi, he's very archetypal. He's very generic right now. But that's because we haven't done enough with his character yet. And because he starts from that place, I get the feeling he's going to be the character that is probably going to be expected to undergo the most character development. Currently, he's the one in most need of it, but I think that's by design. So it's not necessarily a negative criticism about the series. He's supposed to start off there. That's where his arc starts. So we'll see where it goes. I will say this though. the inciting incident, right? Because remember, our story starts off with him, venturing off to the capital. That's what gets the ball rolling. But the inciting incident that brings him to Night Raid, that I think is actually good. That's a good place for us to start. So, in terms of his initial character arc, assuming that he undergoes one throughout the course of the series, where he starts is not a bad place. He's actually set up to do some pretty interesting things, so that's good. Um, Akami, she's supposed to be our sort of like our silent, stoic, mysterious character, and in chapter 3 we get a bit of her backstory. So you can tell she's that character that's supposed to like open up over time. And eventually we'll start to see her, more, I guess you could say, her more humanistic qualities, because right now she's just a stone cold killer. And that's the way she's supposed to be in terms of our introduction to her. So I think that once she starts to warm up more to Tatsumi, that will also occur in regards to us, the reader. So um the rest of the members of Night Raid, certainly a very, how do I call them? A very interesting cast of characters. I would say my favorite so far is Leon, just because I like her characterization. I like her personality, and the whole cat girl gimmick for her works. So she's my favorite so far. Sheer is another favorite of mine. I like her dry humor and and what works about it. Sheer has humor very reminiscent of like Hiei, right? Where she's dead serious in all of the dialogue she's delivering, but the it's so dark that it's funny, and it provides some dark humor. But of course, she's totally serious about what she's saying. So, but it works. It works. So, yeah, she's probably my second favorite so far. Third favorite might be the leader. I forget that character's name, but she's just I like her character design. She's really cool. I'm gonna tell you this. You know what's funny? With Night Raid, the way they're introduced in this series and some of the design choices for their characters, this reminds me very much of Black Lagoon. At the very beginning of Black Lagoon, when you first get introduced to that crew, because Akame is sort of like Revi a little bit. They have some similar characteristics, and then of course their boss, Eye Patch, Smoker, Wounded at some point in time previously. That that whole badass boss lady type thing. Not boss bitch. No, not that. I'm talking about like legit, like a boss. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, I'm digging that. I'm digging that so far. Um, she she's fucking Lieutenant Dan. That's what she is. She's Lieutenant Dan. She's very Lieutenant Dan. Sit down. Shut up. She's very Lieutenant Dan. And I'm digging that about her so far. So yeah, let me see who else. There is what is his name? Belrot? I think is how you pronounce it. Um he's cool. He's cool. I like the whole like full body armor gimmick he has. He's okay. Um, Actually, I tell you what, real quick, I am going to pull up that character list because I had it earlier. Let me pull that up real quick, like so. Let's see. Is that the way you're supposed to? Is that how her name? Because in the translation, it's sort of like main or Mien, but I don't really have much thought. I don't really have much thoughts of her. She reminds me from old girl from High School of the Dead, maybe because of the pink hair, and the pigtails, and of course she uses a rifle, so maybe that's the main reason I'm thinking of her. Um, yeah, and see here, this has Shear's name as Shill, but I thought it was Shear, like the scissors she wields. Shear sounds cooler. Actually, oh, okay, it's Shill. It's Shill Shear is her name. Wow. And apparently she's a Gemini. Right on. Um, Lubbock, Rybach. That's the one I'm thinking of. Um, Green hair. Wow. Okay. He's actually kind of cool. He's intriguing. He okay. Yeah. Let me talk about I guess Rybach, Ryback, Rayback, Rayback. However you pronounce that. Let me talk about him real quick. You know what's cool about him is he seems to be like the most pragmatic of Night Raid. He's a pragmatist. Seems like he's kind of cool. I the he's supposed to be the stereotypical like pervert of the group, but I like how despite that little quirk, like he's kind of laid back. He's kind of laid back. I kind of dig that about him. Um, yeah. And let me see. Najenda. Yeah, that's her name. That's her name. The leader of Night Raid. Yeah, she's cool. She's cool. She is cool. Oh wow. Okay. I just spoiled myself to another character's name. You know what? Just because of that, I probably will finish. I'll read some more on this because one of my favorite one of my favorite Japanese mythology characters has a character named after him in this. So yeah, yeah. Mm. All right, so I'm coming up on a half hour, guys. So yeah, all in all, dude, it's good. It's good. I like it. I likes it. So far, so good. I like it. I think it's pretty good. Um, so yeah, so that's pretty much my first impressions of the series. So far, so good. 3 chapters in. Um, I'm intrigued. I will probably keep reading. I will probably keep reading. I do want to check out the anime though, but I mean, I think what is it? The hang on, let me look this up real quick. Real quick. It won't take long. Li- I think it is only I think it's only 78 chapters. So yeah, I might we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. All right. So yeah, so that's my first impressions of Akame Ga Kill. Real quick, let me see who all is in the chat. Shout out to Obey Anime. He says, "What's good, Larry? Yeah, you're better off reading the manga. The anime went downhill in the later half. That's what I've been hearing." Let's see. Dijon, I did not know. I only read the first 3 chapters, my man. King Greek is in the building. Um, where the anime left off. King Greek says, I found you from Random Black Gamer. Hey, man, welcome, welcome. Thank you, thank you. Yes, if you guys have not checked it out, check out me and my man Random Black Gamer. We teamed up to review Transformers, War for Cybertron Trilogy, Chapter 1 Siege, the new Netflix original animated series. Check that out. We just did that a couple of nights ago. Yusuke Knight is in here. Let's see. Hiro Mashima. Yes, that is the name of the creator of Fairy Tail. Some okay. Let's see. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Let's see. Let's see what else. Vin Frost, what do you think of the antagonists of? I haven't gotten to them yet. I haven't been introduced to them yet. Um, if anyone tells you to read Tower of God, don't. It's a waste of time. Um, Yep. Haven't. I saw the first 5 minutes of the anime for that, and let's see. Why did you start with the manga? Because Trent requested it. Trent requested the manga over the anime. And on that note, thank you for the reminder. This is another great time to remind you guys, if you guys have any requests for any manga that you want to see me do a first impression style review of, please become a patron at patreon.com/OAW. Select the Crunchyroller tier. The Crunchyroller tier is a tier that is intended for anime, but I will redeem any request for a manga at that tier. Just go ahead, shoot me a message, let me know that you want me to take a look at the manga as opposed to the anime, and I will jot down your request as such. Also, as a reminder, in addition to your request for said manga, you also get requests to all Patreon exclusive content, which there's not a lot of it right now, but I do have some commentaries on there. And if I have any football fans in the building, I got some, I got some Madden let's plays on there as well. But yeah, you get access to that. You get access to the OAW Vault, which is the original anime and manga review collection that is Otaku Assemble Weekly, where my channel gets its name from. OAW, Otaku Assemble Weekly. That is the name of the original anime and manga review web series that I did way back when, that kicked off the channel. The 2 seasons of that, you get access to that as well. I think I have 3 or 4 episodes, the last 3 or 4 episodes of Otaku Assemble Weekly I have to upload to Patreon. Because I almost have the entire collection uploaded. You get access to that, and you also get an invite to join in live on camera in the live stream in the monthly Q&A. All my patrons, all of my patrons, $10 or higher get invites. I do have some, $5 and $1 patrons who were grandfathered in because they pledged at the very start of my Patreon page. But like I said, if you pledge to the Crunchyroller tier, you'll get that invite to join in on the live Q&A. That's at the end of every month, right here on the OAW Entertainment YouTube channel, as well as the Facebook page. And I think this month we're going to do Twitch as well. I'm going to be broadcasting it on Twitch as well. So once again, patreon.com/OAW, select that Crunchyroller tier and just shoot me a message that, yo, Larry, I want you to check out the manga for this. And I'll check out the first, 3 chapters or so and give you all my first impressions of it. All right, guys, what to keep an eye out for later this week. Wrapping up this week on Friday, I have another discussion of the week is back. Discussion of the week is back. And matter of fact, Trent requested this week's discussion of the week as well. Homie, I got it for you. It's coming. Discussion of the week is back on Friday, guys. So stay tuned for that. It will be either 7 o'clock p.m. or 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. Keep an eye out for that. I always post updates on social media about it. On that note, follow me on social media. Facebook.com/OAW Entertainment, Twitter.com/OAWENTMT, Twitch.tv/OAW_entertainment, and of course, right here, YouTube.com/OAW Entertainment. Last but certainly not least, Patreon.com/OAW. As always, guys, like, comment, share, subscribe. I appreciate you guys so much. All the support you guys have shown me and the channel. Thanks so much. Once again, couldn't do this without you guys. I mean, I could do it without you guys, but it wouldn't be nearly as fun. It wouldn't be nearly as fun without you guys. You guys make this worthwhile. All right. With that being said, this has been Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief. I got to get out of here, guys. I'm signing off. I will catch you all this Friday. Until next time, peace.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?